Hello fellow crafters, Janine here, and today I'm going to show you how I made this very simple but very beautiful Thanksgiving invitation that's going out to friends and family this year for the holidays. I decided to do a hint. Normally we just call or email and invite everybody over, but this time I decided that doing a formal invitation of sorts would be fun and different. So I made this beautiful invitation, and that's what the inside looks like. So it includes some stamping, some foiling, some die cutting, and actually some watercoloring here. And I also made a return postcard for them to send back, letting me know if they're going to be able to make it or not and what they'll be bringing, because we do a potluck Thanksgiving lunch. But anyway, if you'd like to see how I made this really cute Thanksgiving invitation card, just stay tuned. Okay, first off I want to show you all the paper packs that I'm using for this project. I use this 6x6 paper pack from Walmart. All of these are from Walmart, and they're all Color Book brand. But this one is Darling Jewel, and I use that for the inside mats and for a decorative strip on the front of the card. This is the cardstock that I use to actually make the cards, and it's again Color Book cardstock in craft, which is just a kind of paper bag looking paper. And I use this for some decorative elements on the outside and inside of the card. I just used some of the more solid colored papers like this one. And this is Color Book 12 by 12 paper in the design Boardwalk. Can you see that? Yeah, there it is. Boardwalk. Sorry, I just hit the tripod. Okay, and this is one of my favorite Color Books designs. It's called French Prep, and it just has some really beautiful paper in it, and some kind of khaki neutrals, browns, and blues. It's just beautiful, and I use that mainly to make the envelopes. And that's where I'm going to start today, and show you how I made the envelopes. I'm going to start from the backwards and work my way forwards, I suppose. But anyway, I just cut the number of sheets of paper I needed for the number of invitations that I'm sending out. And most of my envelope paper came from that book French Prep. And I didn't mind using so many pieces of paper from it because I checked at Walmart recently and they still have it in stock. So if I run low on this book and I want to, I can purchase another book. But anyway, so I just cut 15 pieces of paper, 12 by 12 papers, to 8 1/8 inch squares. And I made a template, and the way I made the template was just playing around with my card, folding it in until it really matched the card well and gave me enough room for the postcard that I'm going to be including in it also. So once I had that template made and I just notched out these areas, then what I did was decided what I wanted to be the top flap of the card, which I like this part of the paper for that. So I'm just going to lay this template down on top and just use a brightly colored, and you see I am going on the pattern side, but the pattern side is the side that's going to be on the inside of the card, so you're not going to see these. I'm going to cut these red marks off. You won't see them, but if some of it was to remain, it's on the inside of the card and it really wouldn't be seen. But that pencil is bright enough that I can see it even on this brown paper. So then I just took my small precision scissors and just cut those notches out. Okay, like so. And where this flat corner is actually the bottom of the envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and fold the sides in first. And you could use a bone folder, which I do have, but I just didn't feel like getting it out for this one card. To really crease that well, I'm just going to use my fingernail. Okay, I'm going to take my tape runner. I don't want that on the inside. I probably should have creased this first, but that's okay. You get the idea. And press that down. And now this envelope's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and crease the top flap. And when I get ready to put my card in it, all I'll do is just put a little bit of the tape runner just on that point right there to seal it up. So anyway, envelope's made. Go ahead and put that aside. Now, for the cards, all I did was cut those 8.5 and 11 pieces of paper in half this way, and then scored them and folded them up and creased them really good with my bone folder, which I know you've all seen that a million times, so you really didn't need to watch me doing that. And now these are the inside mats that I made, and I'm going to go ahead and do that first. And again, I'm just going to use my tape runner. Okay, now this is the actual invitation part. This was white paper, just like this, and you can see the difference. Once I started playing with it, and I printed out all the information on this kind of, it's not cardstock paper, it's actually matte photo paper, but it's got a nicer weight to it than just regular paper. But anyway, once I put it in here and looked at it with other elements, I was like, oh, that is just way too bright. The white is not playing nice with all the other stuff going on. So all I did very simply was take some brown watercolor and a little burnt sienna watercolor, mixed it together, watered it down really, really well, and then just lightly brushed over the card, and then just took an old rag and just blotted it up just to distress this so that it looks much nicer. And these pieces of tape are covering my telephone numbers, but anyway, so that looks a whole lot better in this card than that Stork white. That Stork white was just too much. It was too bright. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you see some of the watercolor went underneath, but that's okay because nobody's gonna see it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and position that in here. Okay, and this is the piece. I'm also going to be doing some stamping, but this is the piece that's going to go right here. And since it is got all these little fine bits, you can see here, they're way too delicate to try and run anything like a tape runner over, or even glue sticks. So for those, I've just got a small spray box right here. I'm just going to use my Elmer's Craft Bond spray adhesive. Let me grab my tweezers. And just going to give it a light mist. Now that is coated completely and perfectly with that spray adhesive. And it's going to hold all those little bits down just so. Love this spray adhesive for, I know it's not showing up that good on camera, but actually in person that orange stands out against that brown paper pretty well. On camera for some reason it's not picking up. But anyway, so that's perfectly adhered. Don't have to worry about that coming loose. And I'm going to pause while I go ahead and get my stamp ready. Okay, I've got my letters for my stamp set laid out just where I want them. So I'm going to go ahead and take my big acrylic Fiskars stamping block and pick them up. And this way I'll be able to use it again and again for every stamp, and I won't have to lay them out over and over again. It just makes my life so much easier. So I'm going to go ahead and ink those up. And I'm going to mix up a couple of colors. Since my color scheme here is kind of brown and red, I'm going to mix the inks right on the stamps themselves and see what we get. It's going to be a little bit of an experiment. And I'm sorry, these are the Dewdrop stamp sets. Probably should have started with the red. Okay, and line this back up. Sorry if my head's in the shot. Actually, I think it'd be easier to line the card up underneath it. Hold it there for a few seconds, let the ink transfer to the card. And we're done. And it looks great. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and cap those. And those are the Dewdrop inks from Memento. This one was Rich Cocoa, and Ladybug. Okay. And on the front of the card, I have this element that's going to go here. Again, this was cut up by the Cricut. And then I just cut a little strip of the decorative paper that's going to go along the bottom edge here. And then the sentiment for the front is something I cut out with the Cricut. But let me show you that because that's actually interesting how I came up with this, because these are foiled through my laminator. And what I did was I just ran a piece of that photo matte paper through my laser printer and just did a solid black background, and I ran it through twice to really get a heavy amount of ink on it. And then I cut out a full page of these "Please Join Us" letters, and then foiled them through my laminator, which I'm going to go ahead and insert that video here so you can see how I did that. Okay, I've got all of the letters removed from the Cricut mat, and I've laid them out. I've got my foil actually upside down on this page because I figured it would be easier to lay them out and get them all covered without having to cut a million little strips of foil. So this is what I did. And I'm going to go ahead and close this up. This little folder came with the laminator. So I'm just going to close it up and gently move it to the laminator and go ahead and run it through, and hopefully nothing will shift, at least not too bad, and overlap. So here we go. Okay, well here is all of the little words separated from the foil sheet, and you can see I used up that foil sheet pretty good. Not a whole lot left to it. So that was fun, and that was a great way to get all of these sentiments done in pretty much one swoop, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all this up. Again, I'm going to be using the spray glue in my little spray box because it's just so much easier with these little tiny pieces like this. you can tell on the J and the I, I lost or it was just really just too much trouble trying to figure out how to get those itty bitty little dots foiled, so I just didn't worry about the dots. I'm just going to use my glitter pen to put them on. But anyway, I'm just going to take the decorative strip and then just run. It's going to be interesting to figure out how to do this, but just run a bead of the tape runner down. Okay, and this is glitter glue that I got from Walmart also. It's Studio G. And this is why I'm doing this last, because this is going to take a little time to dry. Okay, and the last little decorative touches I'm going to put on is just a few of these fall colored sequins. I'm not going to go too crazy with them because I do have a number of invitations to do, so I'm just going to maybe lay them out, see where I like them first before gluing them down. Alright, I do believe that's it. I mean, I could just keep going with this and go absolutely crazy with it, but I really think stopping right here is the thing to do. It's simple but elegant, because there's so much going on the inside. I just feel like overdoing the outside would just be really too much. And then once we have it loaded up in our beautiful decorative envelope, I mean, that's just going to be really, really lovely. So that's it for constructing these beautiful Thanksgiving lunch invitations. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you would like to see more card making, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Let me know that you like them. And as always, you have a very blessed day and a happy Thanksgiving.